The last Fender Bassman preset I did on a HX Stomp went really well and sounded very good. I'm going to replicate this process on the Pod Go and see how far I can go to make the tones sound alike. We're going to be using the Tweed Blues Nrm, and then we're going to be looking at a cab session, which is going to be crucial because there's only one microphone on the Pod Go. So let's try and get it to sound as nice as possible. I am using the same guitar, a JTV59 VREX with the pickups tuned to Filtertron style. Let's load up the Fender Bassman. Click on the hamburger icon, Tweed Blues Nrm, which should load up the P10R as stock. Let's see, the settings are the same as on the HX Stomp. I think this default setting sounds a bit better on the Pod Go than the HX Stomp because on HX Stomp, it pulls up the SM7B at the cap edge, which is a lot brighter. This is a lot mellower sounding, which I prefer to my ears. Let's dial in the M settings as close as possible. I brought this down to 2, I remember. I brought this down to 3. I turned this down to 6, treble to 6. I brought the presence up. I'm going to leave it at 3. And I'm going to bring up some volume because we dropped the drive down to half its value. Let's go to the cabs. 160 ribbon. Okay, it sounds decent for now. Let's do a few things. I'm going to bring the distance back to 3.5 inches because I don't want that much bass coming in. And to clean out the bass, I am going to bring up this low cut to 110 or 120. I prefer the high cut to be not so drastic. So let's bring up the 10K, early reflections up to 33% and see what we have here. A much cleaner sound on the bridge pickup. Let's go with our previous compressor, the red squeeze. It's a bit on the high side now, so I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to turn the mix down to 65% and the level down to 4 dB because I don't want it to clip too much. Now you can hear the tail end of the note begin to distort, but it's now in a pleasing way because those transients aren't as sharp and as picky as they were before the compressor was put on. Let's choose a similar delay. I believe I went with the transistor tape, which is my Echoplex style. I'm going to have this at quarter notes, sure, why not? Feedback, I'm going to raise it up a tad, bring down the wow and flutter. Ooh, excuse me, this is not... It's way too much wow and flutter. One of the tricks to make the delay sound wider is to bring the scale down to 99%. The scale parameter calculates the offset between the two speakers left and right. So having it at 99% just displaces it very slightly, which should, in theory, widen the stereo field. Let's bring this down to 33%. And what do we have here? Got to bring that hit room up, and I'm going to turn the mix up slightly, 36%. The transistor tape is now my favorite delay because it acts like a pseudo reverb. I can dedicate one block just for a shimmer style reverb, which we might do later. Let's try loading up the similar drives as we did before. The 808, which I believe was 6, 7, and 7. So the overdrive is pushing the amp a little bit harder. calling this as a first stage overdrive because the TS-808 doesn't sound good when it's pushed too much in front. I'm gonna load up a second stage overdrive, which I believe was the Diana drive. Whoops. Forgot to turn on that noise gate, so remember to do that, guys. Let's bring up the gain to 6. Turn the voice down to, let's say, 3.5. Tone up to 5, and the level as is. Stacked together, what do you get? I like how it sounds right now, but we can improve it a little bit further. We've managed to reduce the bass, but in so doing, we've also managed to reduce the clarity and the brightness of the patch. So I'm going to use a tilt EQ, something very simple, and I'm going to turn it up just ever so slightly, somewhere along the lines of the 1.6K, and hear how this sounds like. First stage overdrive. Without. I think the patch sounds great right now, except I do want to get rid of the volume pedal and the mono FX loop because I want more functionality out of my patch. I'm going to try and insert a reverb because, you know, PNW, and I want to insert a secondary delay just dedicated to the dotted eighth. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to export this preset. I'm going to open up using text edit. Now scroll down till you can see these block specifications right here. I'm gonna highlight this. Be very careful what you delete. And I'm gonna highlight this. And save. Just to make sure I don't overwrite any of my work, I'm gonna file, import preset on a new preset. Yes. Haha, yes, I've managed to unlock 2 more blocks by getting rid of the volume pedal and the FX loop. Now, nifty trick, I'm going to right click and assign this to EXP2. Bring up the editor, minimum value 0 and maximum value 8 so that, yes, I can use this as a volume pedal. Let's see what other blocks we can use. Oh, we're out of DSP for any of the major PNW stuff. But never mind, we've got a particle verb, which is pretty cool as well. We'll just turn this guy off. Ah, we got nothing else here we can use. Oh, that's a pity. What can we do? What can we do? Why would I turn this to vintage digital? Ah, okay, it frees up a bit more things. Again, I can't load up a second delay. Dual delay, does it change up? Dual delay here, and yes, a simple delay. So yes, I can do that here. Let's just quickly turn this to the dotted eighth. I'm going to bring it up to 45, bring this up to 50%. Scale at 100%. Dual delay. Unfortunately, we can't use a transistor tape because that's too much DSP. Why don't we make this a bouncy type of delay? Let's have a darker sounding delay. Let's bring this down to 9K. Bring the depth up because I want the modulation. I do want a bit of modulation. Still a very bright delay, so why don't I bring it down to 5K? Okay, that's a very short feedback. Why don't I bring it up to just for the fun of it? Not an eighth delay now? Alright, particle verb. Last thing, let's really crank that up. 50%, trails on. And this is how I'm going to be using the Fender Bassman preset. I'm going to be having a standard sound. Dotted eighth. And there you have it, a fully functional Fender Bassman preset that I've tweaked the way I like it, how it sounds for praise and worship music. I hope you found some value out of this. If you do enjoy tone tweaking videos like this, I've got more in the playlist that you can check out right here. See you there.